Hey everybody, it's Matt from Team MFML, and today I'm going to show you my Varga deck profile. So, we've just gone for the normal Varga ride line, but the starter is the start from the trial deck, but there's no other starter to use for this really. But well, there is, you can use any of them, but it doesn't really matter. I just chose this. So, when it's rated upon, draw a card, standard. The grade 1, the ride line, is when it's rated upon by the grade 2, it calls out as a rear guard and you soul charge 1, and then during your turn, if you've got grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Varga, it gains 2000. Boulder Axe has the same effect as this grade 1, but it calls out as a rear guard. That's pretty much the same, but then he's got a rear guard effect that after the battle he's attacked, you retire him and draw, but he also gains 5k when he attacks. And then Varga himself is once per turn, when he attacks, you can counterblast 1, give it 10,000 power, and then auto restand at the end of the battle with drive -2. And then he's got Divine Skill, where if your Vanguard's attacked twice, your opponent's on 4 or more damage, you can counterblast 1, restand it, and it gains its drives back. But before I go any further with that, so on the first effect is you kill both players' front row rear guards as well. So it's counterblast 1, gains 10k, both players retire their front row, and then yeah, the rest of what I said. So that's the ride line. Triggers, blah 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 blah. Oh, that was close. I almost got them all in one go. Ended up picking up some of the grade 1s. Right, so we've gone with 4, 8 crit. So those are, I've just chosen random crits. Although probably should run 4 of these because you sometimes can need a soul in this deck because of a grade 1 that's always wanting to soul blast. So if you've got 4 of these spare, to try whack 4 of those in. Otherwise the rest of the crits don't really matter, which is why it's a bit of a mixed match. Then we got 4 heals. I've just done random ones, doesn't really matter which heals you have, but I've just done the vanilla ones, but you can have the effect ones for either situation, but I've just gone with the 4 vanilla. 3 of the draw trigger for the 10k shield, your opponent's grade 3 or greater Vanguard, and then blue over trigger. So if you see this on the offense, you get something back from a drop, yeah, and then give a unit the crit as well as, of course, the 100 million. And then onto the grade 1s. Oh, I got all of those in one go. So we have 4 copies of the mid-hat. If your Vanguard restands by an ability, you can retire them and draw. 4 your standard PGs. If it got 2 or less cards in your hand, you can use it for free. If you go into a major tournament, just swap one out for your, what's it called again? The Blitz Order one.
Like the Elementaria Sanctitude.
That thing, yeah. Just swap out for one of those. And then we got 4 copies of the Impale Horn Dragon. So, this guy, when he's boosting, he basically becomes a 15k booster because he gains 2k and then he gains 5k. And then at the end of the battle, you can Soul Blast 1 and retire him to draw a card. Pretty simple. And then until set 2, basically he's got 1 copy of this. So I'm really bad with names. Crimson Scale. This one is at the end of the battle, it boosted. If any player's rear guard was retired this turn, you can bind it face down and draw a card. So because there's any players, you can trigger it off your own Boulder Axe retiring and stuff like that. So it is good to run at a higher number if you want to, but it depends on your space. So I just keep it as a one-off. Onto the grade 2s when I can get them all. So we have the 3 extra copies of the Boulder Axe, same as the ride line. And we got 3 copies of the Bullet of Dust Storm. So this guy, when your Vanguard attack hits, you can retire into draw and counter charge. Because the deck can use a lot of counter blast, and you always, every turn you want to be activating Varga because it's a restand and a retire. And then we got 3 copies of the new Cycler for Dragon Empire. So when he's discarded or used in a Guardian Circle, you can counter blast 1 or energy blast 3 and draw a card. But it's when it's discarded for the ride, bear that in mind. Damn. Helps we don't drop cards. But then he does have another effect that when he's placed on rear guard, you can counter blast 1 or energy blast 3, choose a grey wand without sensing from your drop and call it a back row. So if you really need back row, there you go. And then we got the 4 copies of the Shura. If you can help it, don't go any lower than 4. This card is too good not to be running at 4. Because when it attacks, you can energy blast 2. She gains 5k. And then you can pick a rear guard to give red text of that when it's retired, you can put it back into your hand. So just that alone, being able to recycle, basically what I normally like to try and do is have this as the primary target. So when its own effect would retire, it bounces back to the hand. And then she's got another effect that when she's retired from the front row by the ability of Varga, yep, you can counter blast 1, call her back, and she gains 10,000. So if you need to have that extra rear guard and you've got the open counter blast, there you go. And she gains the extra power, which is always nice. And then grade 3, so last of the deck. So we've got the Cradle Order. So this is basically the activated Persona Ride if you haven't ridden. And because Varga really wants to be able to Persona Ride every single turn, because you're normally swinging your front row rear guards first, so they don't gain any trigger effects, whereas this can help make up for that. There is one card that will stick around for definite though. So if you can put your triggers onto this guy. So the Glaive Dragon, it's got front row rear guard during your turn. If your front row does not have another copy of him, he gains 10,000 power and he can't be retired by card effects. And then if you have a grade 3 or grade 2 Varga, he gains boost. So you can have him as a column if you really wanted to, and then you can always be swinging for 26 without any like triggers or anything like that. But because he sticks around, Varga won't be killing him off. So if you need to apply triggers, there's your primary target. And then the last card of the deck, just the extra 3 copies of Varga for, why wouldn't you? It generates soul, Persona Ride, all of that. So there you go guys, that is my Varga deck profile. Leave any thoughts and comments below, and we'll see you next time. So bye bye.